Hello Frontline History, and today we're doing another video. Today we are doing what a normal U.S. soldier would carry during World War II. This is probably post-Normandy. That's what I plan on, is what this is about. So, I think they probably carried about the same before Normandy, but this is post-Normandy, just so y'all know. Start off, weapons and ammo. They had the M1 Garand rifle, chambered in 30-06 with an 8-round clip. Most of them carried 64 rounds. So you do quick math there. That's 8 mags, clips. Not mags, they're clips. I'm dumb. A bayonet, which would be... I don't know what the bayonet is, and I'm not going to say it if I don't know it. Grenades, they'd carry 2 Mark II fragmentation grenades, which are... People think they were green. Video games try to tell you they were green. They were yellow. They were painted yellow. A lot of soldiers painted them green because if you see something yellow laying on the ground, it's really easy to pick it up, throw it back. You don't want the Germans throwing your grenades back at you. And a German soldier would be using, compared to what an American soldier is using. So we're using semi-automatic M1 Garand rifles. I'll flash a picture up here. That's what we carry. And the Germans are using bolt actions, as we talked about in the last video. They're using Kar-98s. They're using MP40s if they're using submachine guns, and Gewehr 43s for semi-autos. I'll put a K98 up here, but that's what the Germans would be carrying. I don't think the Gewehr was issued near as much as the M1 Garand was the standard service rifle of the U.S. Army. So they would not, the Gewehr was not the standard service rifle of the German army. They would probably be carrying, a lot of them would definitely be carrying K98Ks. K98 is built by Mauser. It fires the German 7.62. So not the same size as 30-06. I think it's a little smaller. I'll flash some 7.62 ammo over there. That's what they use. For uniforms and protection. Uniforms, since we're doing the regular U.S. Army, they would be wearing the M1940, the M43 uniform, which would be the M43 trousers and the M43 jacket. Along with, they might have an M40, this time they'd probably have an M41 jacket. If it's winter, the boots, they would have the combat shoe with putties, I think is what they're called. They're the things you wrap around your legs so you can't or gaiters. They're called gaiters. The putties are what the Russians use. They're so water won't get into your, shoes. We did not use boots. And I think we used boots a little bit later in the 1940s. Now, paratroopers use the paratrooper boots, which I need to get a pair of those. Those are really cool. The helmet would be the M1 helmet. Sometimes they had the nets on them, but I don't think it's near as common for the regular infantry to have the nets as it is for paratroopers. Because the paratroopers, they put the burlap straps in their helmet. They would also be having they would also have their dog tags, which even now, soldiers still use dog tags. You've probably seen these. They had these waterproof bags right here on D-Day. Those were gas mask bags because they were afraid that the Germans, fearing the invasion, would use gas against the invasion force. They never did. No one used gas, really. I think actually the Italians did in World War II. Survival and field gear, the M1928 haversack, which is their backpack, you fold it and stuff, that's what a haversack is. They would have their T-handle entrenching tools, which would, I don't know, I think that's on the haversack, that's where they would have those. They would usually have their canteen and mess kits, which would be, the canteen comes with a cup, and then in your haversack you would have a plate, you would have a whole bunch of stuff in your haversack. K-rations. In the K-ration, I'll show a picture of them up here. In the K-ration, there was I think Spam, eggs sometimes. I'm not entirely sure. This might not be right. I'll write down up here what is in them. But there'd be chocolate, there would be cigarettes, and there would be some sort of protein in them. And then they would have their first aid kit in a back place, probably right here on the belt. That's where I see it a lot in video games and pictures. Why it matters. Total weight was about 80 pounds, so I'm trying to think of something you can compare to that. Probably, if you have a big dog, think of carrying a big dog on your back all day, or like a 5-year-old. Just think about carrying a 5-year-old on your back. Now, this is probably not what they would have for the rest of the war. A lot of times you hear about them dumping a lot of gear, and they did that. But, this is what they were issued. This is what they were supposed to bring home with them. Like I said, a lot of them dumped it because it's heavy. A modern soldier, so we're going to also go off of the US 11 Bravo, or which is infantry. It would be 120 pounds, so 40 pounds heavier than what they carried in World War II. Which, I know a little bit about modern stuff too. Actually, probably more than I do World War II. But, the modern stuff, they carry 2 or 3 grenade launchers, rounds. And they carry a lot more ammo. They carry 210 rounds for modern. Personal items. A soldier would a lot of times carry personal items like letters, photos. Even there are rare cases of pistols. There were pistols sent home too. The German Luger was a very prized possession among Allied troops. A lot of people wanted to get them. And Bibles. Actually, give me 1 second. This would be about the size of one that they would carry. This is modern, but like be about this size. Wouldn't be very big. Just enough to fit in your little pocket right there. So yeah, if you want to see what German, British, or Soviet uniforms looked like, drop which one you in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss it. Also, remember, at 100 subscribers, I will be buying an 101st Airborne uniform. Make sure you subscribe to see that happen. See y'all later.